Hi everybody. Hello, Hannah.
Hello?
Hey, yeah, absolutely, I can. So where were we? We're gonna go with the next session, which is 4.2. What is trending price momentum, and how do we select buying and selling signals? So the first part is to actually define trending price momentum. Investopedia, who has good descriptions of everything, price momentum. Now, I'm not exactly sure what it does, but I'm sure that it finds the average of, if I was to guess, it's going to find the average closes or whatever prices we feed it, and it's going to find out where it sits based on the interval that we feed it, and that's what I assume it is. And let's find out. Now, in our trading view strategy that we're copying for the purposes of this bot, we'll see that the first momentum that we're taking, which is saved as mom0 here, is actually considering the price, which is the most recent close, and the length, which is 12 candles. So over the last 12 whatever candles, and in our case we're using minutely candles. Doesn't actually say that on my chart. The last 12 minutely candles it's going to consider for the first price momentum. For the second price momentum, it's going to use whatever it found in the first momentum as the momentum, as well as one interval to try and figure out the second momentum. I wish it painted these momentums on here. Maybe we can use a tool to paint a momentum on here. Indicator. Momentum. We want two of them. I don't think we can do the second one actually with one on the. What just happened? Momentum. Whoops, not what I wanted to do. What did I do? I broke it. How many indicators do I have on this thing? Okay, apparently my free version of, I see what's going on. In my free version of TradingView, I can't have more than one indicator. So let's try this again. Momentum. So we'll see the one with 12. Oh, hold on. I have a whole bunch of momentums. I couldn't see them because of this ad. We will see what it does. We'll see what the first one does, which is over the last 12 intervals. So the default one they have here is over 10 intervals, which we don't want. We want to set it to 12 based on the close. So here we see what the momentum is actually graphing if we apply it to the graph. This is before we look up the actual definition. So we'll see what that is in a sec. It looks as though it's considering, well, let's see what it does actually, and then we'll go back and look at the graph. Momentum is a rate of acceleration in price or volume. So in our case, that's price. In technical analysis, momentum is considered an oscillator and can be used to help identify trend lines, which is what we're trying to do. So the comparison of the two momentum lines and what we're trying to consider is going to go ahead and give us an indication about whether to buy or sell. And the key thing about this strategy, I guess, from just reading about it, is the fact that we're calculating based on the first momentum over the 12 intervals, the second momentum, which we can't even graph on TradingView here because I don't have that info. You can't save that as a variable and then graph it. We will be able to graph it using our code, and I'm definitely able to do that in Node a lot easier than I am in Python, but we'll figure it out in Python when we go to create our web interface. And I think I will be changing the order again of our code actually when we get started. I think we're going to code the web interface at the very beginning and then just add to it as we go along. Because I'm not sure exactly how to do Django, but this way we can get around the problem that we found yesterday, which is that I don't know how to log stuff to Heroku using Python. We can do it locally. And it'll log, it'll show us the output. But if we're going to put it on Heroku, we want to see that log. A log is just an ongoing representation of the things you want to take notice of. You comment things out of the log, you add it to the log, you make sure that the log is telling you what you need to know to make sure the thing is working properly. Which is one thing we'll decide when we program this momentum, the first one, because we can see it right here on the TradingView chart, and we know this is correct, this is what we're after. It's using the last 12. I don't know what these dots are. We can find out if we go back to the definition. In general, momentum refers to the force or speed of movement. It is usually defined as a rate. In the world of investments, momentum refers to the rate of change on price movements for a particular asset. That is the speed at which the price is changing, which makes a lot of sense. I was actually thinking about making an indicator that uses price momentum without realizing what it was. My idea for a bot was going to be, and this is one that I haven't done yet, we might even do it over a series of a tutorial. However, my idea was to enter or exit based on the price trend, which is just basically telling if it's going up or down over the last interval. Using the price trend, you either enter or exit, and then you place a trailing stop. Now, the percentage of the trailing stop behind or above or below the price is variable based on the momentum. So looking at this graph, we can tell that. Let's find a good example of what we're trying to explain here. What is going on? Okay, so here the momentum is really high, and we expect that means the price is changing over the last 12 candles, which we can see is absolutely true. So over these last 12, over this series of, can I paint this? Is there a paint button? The freeform? Not what I wanted. There's got to be like a measure tool. So over these 12 or so candles, we can see there's tons of price movement. It's moved all the way, and this is, I think, when earlier I noticed this, the price jump. Either way, we moved. It'll tell us if I move the instant buy, instant sell button. Either way, it moved 30, 40 bucks, the price of Bitcoin over the past 12 candles, which is a lot of movement. And we can tell here by the price calculator, our momentum trend, that's a very high difference in momentum. Now, the second indicator that considers the first momentum will consider these last 12 momentum bars and see that there's a lot of movement, and then over the last, no, it's going to consider one. It's going to consider one momentum bar and see how much movement is over that last momentum bar. Either way, that just means that it's a very quick changing second momentum that we take in consideration. So if both of them, if the price is going up from the last momentum move and from the last 12 price moves, we see an upward momentum above zero, which is the middle here, the median. We can the mean. I don't know what actually average it uses, but either way, if that's how our indicator works, and Hannah, this is important. So over the last 12 price movements, if the momentum is higher than the average momentum, and over the last momentum change, if the momentum has changed in the positive direction, that means that our first entry point is true, which means we're going to do a long or a buy. If everything's below zero and it's in the opposite direction, if everything's going, if the average of price is going down and the last momentum trend is going down, meaning that it proves that that's an actual change in the price, it's just basically a security to make sure that it's really moving down, and that's how our indicators combine to give us the buy and sell signals. Now, what were we actually doing for our learning objective? Finding out how momentum works, and we applied it to what we're actually doing, which is good. The second thing is, how do we select buying and selling signals, which I guess I've gone over. So does that all make sense, Hannah? Basically, I'll explain it again. Over the last 12 price changes, if the price is above the average change in price for the last little while, we'll see then if the actual change of momentum has changed in the positive direction over the last one bar, which is like this. And so if both of them are in a positive direction, they're both above the average of the last little while. I'm not sure what defines the last little while, but it appears to be something to do with the momentum change itself rather than the last little while, and I apologize for saying that. Either way, if the difference is positive, above zero, because I think this just keeps on going upwards here. Like if the change was even more drastic, I think it goes above 40, which is where it maxes out here. So basically, zero means, below zero means it's moving down. Above zero means it's moving up. We can actually prove that if we look here. So if we look here and look at the last 12 indicators, we should see that the price is, well, I guess here. The price is moving down over these last 12 indicators, or these last 12 price movements, which is true. So from here to about here, we'll see that the price has moved down, which is when it crosses the zero and starts to be a negative indicator in this momentum price case. Price of momentum. Share the monitor. I'm sorry, Hannah. You can feel free to speak up, by the way. I'm so sorry for not sharing the screen. You can see here I painted. Can you see? Can you see, Hannah?
Right now I can.
You can or can't?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, great. So you see here I painted, this is basically the last 12 changes in price, and then basically it considers from here if this is positive and the change in momentum is positive, which just confirms the trend. I can't even continue using trading chart without signing on. Trading view rather. That's unfortunate. Anyway, that means that our change in price has been confirmed by the change in momentum, and then we can enter or exit into the trade, and that's how it works, and that's exactly what we're going to code now that we have a full understanding of what it is. And the stream is still good, which is good. Now I really wish I could use TradingView. Do you know? Can I sign up for a free account?
Yes, you can sign up for free.
Oh yeah, here I am.
If you want the pro,
Yep.
they want you to.
I'm good, I think. I think I have what I need. I think I'm good. I think it's not going to bug me anymore. I should upgrade my TradingView account if I'm going to be doing these in the future. If you wanted to do this yourself, there's a measure tool where you can confirm the price change in momentum. You can confirm what this is doing. I can't measure here, unfortunately. I can double click it, which I didn't want to do. Either way, that's exactly how it works. That's the end of this session. I believe this session was more than 10 minutes. It was barely more than 10 minutes. So again, we'll take another short break, 2 or 3 minutes, and we will be back. The next session, by the way, what we just covered is how to figure out what price change and momentum is. I just closed something I didn't want to close. I don't think I have it in history. We covered what is price momentum, change in momentum, how to use it to get your entry and exit signals for the buying and selling. And then that's exactly what we're going to code over the next few sessions. I'm going to change the order of the next few sessions because we're going to code a web interface before we do. I'm trying to find the session was more than 10 minutes. Oh, whoops, it was barely more than 10 minutes. So again, we'll take another. Sorry about that. So what I'm trying to say is that we're going to reorder the sessions. The next one is going to be, where am I? Oh, we're going to go over the pros and cons of different exchanges. We could actually do that right now since that won't take that long. The pros and cons of different exchanges. So BitMex, for instance, and that's the one we're going with. They have a test net, so you can build your code. You can do it using paper trading on their test net. We reviewed a little bit of that yesterday, how that's different than a live net. Some of the major advantages of BitMex, aside from that, on the XBT USD perpetual contract, and I think for some of the other contracts, makers have a rebate. So if you were to enter into a trade and you do that using a limited order and you do it before the price gets to that exact point, meaning that you've made the trade and that people are taking it against the order book against you, and this is the kind of trade that Hannah wants to do, they'll actually give you a little rebate on that. So they'll give you a percentage of the fees they charged whoever entered into that trade against you. They'll actually give you some of the fees of the people making money on lending you that if you do it on margin, which is great. And they'll also just take a little bit of fee. The only way you're going to lose money on Bitcoin trading for fees, if you were to enter and exit at the exact same place on BitMex, is if you do it. I think if you sell against, if you short the position, you're going to be paying into the lending fees. However, the only way to lose money on buying or going long on BitMex on XBT USD is if you enter into a signal. I'll show you what this looks like actually, because we can just show you. Their lending rates are defined when you're looking at a pair, and we want to log in. What did I use here? Earners done plus live stream at gmail.com. I'm pretty sure that's right. I don't know what I used for the test. It didn't work anyways. That's okay. Here I am. So down here in the bottom left, you'll see the what am I looking for? Predicted rate, I guess, is what we're looking for. And I think if this is positive, that means that you will be losing money on lending if you go long against the asset of BitMex. Now you can confirm that in their FAQ. We're not going to go into it right now. But this is BitMex, and this is how to do trades. This is leveraging. You can go up to 100 times on XBT USD. The system is currently overloaded. Please try again later. That's not good. There's so much volume on BitMex that I can't even change my leverage, but that's okay. I'm sure it would work if we came back to it, or if I tried a different browser, or if I wasn't so busy doing billions of things on my internet connection at once. By the way, that's another major selling point of BitMex against other exchanges, is that you can actually use up to 100 times leverage. Most of the other exchanges that even have leverage only do 3.33 times, like Bitfinex, or 5 times on certain pairs, like Kraken, or however you pronounce that. Other exchanges are good. Other exchanges have far less volume. Other exchanges don't let you execute trades against yourself, which creates fake volume, and a lot of people don't like that about Bitcoin. For instance, Quion, or however you pronounce that, and their new exchange, Liquid.com, allows you to do trades against yourself, which means that people can influence the market by pretending to do trades just by giving themselves Bitcoin and taking away their Ethereum, and then trading it back to themselves, only paying the fees and the difference in price. This allows them to inflate the volume in the order book and make it seem as though there's volume going in a certain direction when there's not really. This is only really advantageous to bots and particularly whales that want to influence the price in a certain direction. And that's how they actually hunt for stop limits. So if you have a stop limit on any exchange that supports it, and people put the price down or above where it is right now, basically for the minimal amount of however much is actually on the books, if they put it up by a whole percent, they'll create all these stop loss orders to sell or buy above or below for more volume than what they just bought into or sold, and they could actually make a nice little profit just by doing that alone when you're not even looking, before anybody notices. It's a huge problem actually when people do that. It's called stop loss hunting, and you can look up and see people explain it. It actually happens in real markets as well, but it's much more protrusive in crypto because whales have far more of the order books and volume. So here's a whole bunch of Reddit posts, some blogs, and another Investopedia article just on stop hunting. And that's one of the major advantages or disadvantages, depends on how you look at it, at Quion, or how you pronounce it, in their new exchange, Liquid.com. And that's one of the major advantages of the more reputable American or European exchanges, is that they don't allow you to execute against yourself. And if you're caught with bots on different accounts executing against your own orders, you will face termination or suspension. So it's a bad thing. Self-execution is something that's persecuted by the SEC for actual stocks and stuff. It's manipulating the market. It's really, really bad. Don't do it. If you have the money to do it, go ahead, but it'll be very, very complicated. I don't have many viewers right now, so I don't know if it's working. But what we're going to cover next is actually what we just covered is how to do the price change momentum, what those indicators are, how they're going to interact with each other, how do we choose our buying and selling signals. So after that, you'll know what momentum price change is. It's an oscillator. It measures the price over time, the change in price over time. How do we use those in our bot that we're going to create to select our buying and selling signals? So when they both agree that the trend is one way or the other, it's going to buy or sell. And the pros and cons of different exchanges. And again, we're going to use BitMex just because that's the one that was defined in the contract that Hannah awarded me. It's got a lot of volume. It's got the most volume, I think, out of any exchange, probably because of the 100-time leverage. Next, I'm going to change the order of these sessions. We're going to go ahead and build our web interfaces for our projects without using any of the API data, starting with Node and then using Python to Django. So all my numbers are going to be off here. So unfortunate. Session, come on. I'll do this all on the break. However, the next thing we're going to cover is going to be how to create an Express.js web interface for Node for any project that shows you stuff that you've been pushing from your code whenever somebody launches the interface on a web interface. That works extremely well for Heroku, for both Python and Node, because you can go ahead and it'll give you actually a destination web address, and this is true for Google Cloud Platform. Well, we'll go over here when we actually get into that session. So guys, we're going to break for 2 to 3 minutes. Hannah, I will call you back. Thanks.